Daddy Show. Step off.
Come on, won't you say it loud? Ayo, we gon' turn this out. Tom Clark's main event. Dropkick now and powerbomb. Ayo, bro, let's bring this on. Hey, hey, what is up? Oh, Captain, my Captain, show the stuff. Power slammer, suplex 2. Hot garbage is just for you. Big breaker, cut a cold red. Figure 4, hot times ahead. Since 2014, it's on. It's the 10 count, but stand up strong. Hey kid, no DQ, strong style. Chop, this is how it goes. Tom Clark's main event. Tom Clark's main event. Tom Clark's main event. Tom Clark's main event.
Hey, what is up, kids? Welcome back to the program. Tom Clark here with you on a Friday as usual. It is September 20th, and this is episode number 348. I got a little something happening behind my head here, but it's all good. It's much better than it digitizing here. And yes, I am the whitest guy you've ever seen. However, the lighting is not bad. At least I'm visible, so that's good. Thanks, kids, for hanging out with us today. If you've never watched the show, my name is Tom. What's up? I'm a pro wrestling podcaster / podcaster in general. I have 4 shows at the moment because I have nothing better to do with my time, apparently, and because I love doing this stuff. This particular show you are watching live or after the fact and listening to after the fact is Tom Clark's main event. As I said, episode number 348. This sucker's been going since 2014. This is season 11 here of the podcast, and we have loads of fun. We've interviewed several wrestlers over the years on this show, and most of the time we just get together, we hang out. I have special guests that come on board with me. We talk about events coming up. We talk about the latest headlines. Sometimes we'll just open the floor wide up for an entire episode, but most of the time that's at the end of the episode. So again, if you're not familiar with me, that's who I am. I also have 3 other shows that I'd like to tell you about real quick before we start here today. Tom Clark's 6M podcast, which is a pop culture podcast. 2 Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. That one should be self-explanatory, yeah? We're reviewing the show there. Tomorrow morning, we release episode number 4 from season 3. We're continuing our review of the entire series until we wrap it up. And then whether or not season 4 happens, we'll see. My brand new podcast is exclusively tied to Substack.com. It is Tom Clark's Substack podcast. That show's way different than the stuff you're going to be hearing and seeing today. It's just me being and being blunt and being honest about my life and talking about stuff that maybe I'm dealing with and that stuff that I've read about, things that are affecting me a certain kind of way, and also giving everyone else who listens and watches the opportunity to comment or what have you. That's a brand new show. And look, kids, all those shows you can find on our YouTube at Boink Studios and also on our website at boinkstudios.com. The website is back up and running today. Not sure what happened last week. It was a little funky there for a little while. Had to send some emails that perhaps weren't so friendly because I tend to have a problem with my server like all the time. But we got it back up and running, so I'm pretty happy about that. But again, kids, I want to say thank you for tuning in with us here today. We're not going to waste any more of your time. I'm going to start saying some hellos. Before I do me a favor, smash the like button as people start to drift in here and the audience begins to grow. And hopefully we will fill the room up here today. Fridays are always touchy. And I will let you guys know right off the bat as we get started here today, the day for the show may be changing. I've got some things in the works outside of podcasting, and the day for the main event may be changing. Okay. So I just want to let you know that right now. I just want to give you a heads up, but I will be sure to tell everyone here, whether it's live on the air or, a video or whatever that looks like, a graphic, something to announce the new time, day and time for the show. So if you will, please be patient, and I'd appreciate it very much if you did. But as I said, I will be in touch and I will let you guys know sooner rather than later. Okay. So again, kids, if you will smash the like button for me, I would appreciate it very much. Again, thanks to everyone watching live and listening after the fact. Means loads to me. I appreciate your support. We're an open book here at Boink Studios and all of our podcasts and everything that I do in terms of not just podcasting, but writing on Substack and medium.com as well. And yeah, man, we're an open book and we like to talk about all kinds of cool, fun stuff. That's really what we're doing here. We like to engage. We like to have conversations, debate occasionally here and there, as long as people aren't, too wacky, too abrasive. Yeah. But yeah, we try to have fun here, man. So again, if you've never checked out the show before, welcome, and hopefully you will enjoy what you see and hear today. No guests on board today, kids. It is just me. You're stuck with me for the next hour or so. And then after that, we're going to start our weekend. But before we do anything else, let's get the ticker taking. The branding is in play, and hopefully the signal strength is good. Hopefully I'm coming through to you pretty well right now. Let's say some hellos as we get started here today. Josh was the first guy to the table. How are you doing, my friend? Ray All Day is here. Doing good. Toby said he's first. That's right. I'll let you guys fight it out. Thanks for hanging out. Brienne, good to see you. I appreciate you. Liked and shared, she says. She's awesome. Everybody should be awesome like Brienne is. Everyone be more like Brienne. And Daniel Hood says, good evening. Thank you, kids, again. Again for hanging out here. I do appreciate it. All right, kids. As folks start to come in here, as I said before, hopefully we'll fill the room up today. We'll get as many folks as we can. Do me a favor, try to spread the love, if you will. If you'll share this link and maybe add a comment to where you share it. Say, hey, pro wrestling fans, Tom's online, whatever that looks like. We can make some new fans today, folks. I have people watching from all over the world. It's pretty cool. Pardon me for a moment. That moment of refreshment brought to you by your friends here at Tom Clark's Main Event. Got to stay hydrated. Got to keep those vocal cords moist. Yeah. So my voice doesn't crack. Voice cracking is a problem for me. It sucks. It's more and more of a problem the older I get. But it's okay. How's everybody doing, by the way, before we get cranking here? Everybody doing okay? How's your week been? You guys, enjoying the kids are back to school. Yeah. How's everybody feeling about that? If you got kids at home, my kid's starting his first job in the next week or so. Yeah, dude, no kidding. I'm an old man, baby, but you know what? It's cool. I'm in my prime. I'll stick to that anyway. So yeah, things change, man. I'm telling you. But yeah, I hope you and yours are good. Hope you've enjoyed yourself some pro wrestling. We got a lot of stuff to dig into here today. Ron is on the show. Hey, Ron, what's up, my friend? Thanks for hanging out. Ray says Ray Lee is in 6th grade doing better than Diddy. Well, that's not hard to do better than Diddy. By the way, did you guys see that clip of him and Bieber recently where it looks like he's patting him down for a wire? Diddy done some stuff. We don't have to talk about it. We can bring it up in the floor again if you guys want to, but wow, that's all I'll say. Holy Lord. Holy Lord. Ron says kids being back at school is one thing, but there's some serious issues going on there. I hear you, man. Hopefully everything's well, but stay safe out there. Maria back on the show. I appreciate you guys very much. All right, kids, let's tackle some stuff. If you guys would like to, let's talk about some stuff, man. What do you think about this? Cody Rhodes, your current reigning and defending undisputed WWE champion of the world. I don't know what they're calling it now. And supposedly him and Roman going to be hanging out, seeing a movie together, fist bumping. Right? They're going to have matching bracelets with their names on them. They might get those heart pendants like it's the broken heart, yeah. And one says Cody, one says Roman. I'm just saying. This is the WWE tactic. And I shouldn't just say WWE. This is a pro wrestling tactic. It's been done for years, but WWE made it famous. I think we can all agree, yeah? Take mortal enemies and make them tag together and see what happens. It's like making a dog and cat upset and throwing them in the same room and locking the door and see what happens from there, right? It's the same thing. Poke a hornet's nest and then shut the door and see how you make out. Nothing we haven't seen before. Cody is your champ. To everyone out there doing this weird thing, talking about Cody can't measure up and he's not, Roman should blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you might be the same. You might be the same fans who were crying for Roman's head on a platter and complaining that the bloodline angle was taking much too long and that you couldn't wait till he dropped the belt because it was time. Oh, how quickly we forget, right? Look, you can like what you want to. It's perfectly fine with me. I just find it funny how we continue to tread the same ground that we tread all the time. It's 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 hilarious actually, and it's fascinating if nothing else. So yeah, what do you guys think about this? I'd like your honest feedback. Please and thank you. It made loads to me. Ron says either a whole 80s swerve job or a legit ending with Roman looking at the title while Cody is holding it at the end. Boy, let me tell you something right now. This whole ranting against no storytelling, I can't wait to talk about that because people on Twitter, I don't know if you know this, people on Twitter are losing their minds. There's pro wrestling podcasters banging the table and getting red in the face. None of this stuff matters. I know we enjoy it. I know we love to watch it. I know we like to hang out, talk about it. None of this is real. But there's dudes out there, big sweaty white dudes, banging the table, man. I don't even know what to say. It's fascinating. I can't. I don't want to name call. I'm not that guy. I don't throw shit. Okay, sometimes I throw shade, but it's very subtle shade. I don't curse or go after anybody. I'm not here for that. Yeah. And besides the dude I'm talking about, I'm not going to mention his name. His following is massive. I appreciate my following. It's not massive, but I appreciate the folks who regularly tune in and watch and read and listen. I appreciate you guys very much. But I don't do what he does. He doesn't do what I do. Yeah. But slamming the table. This is not real. This is not real. Pro wrestling is not real. You guys know that, yeah? This stuff's predetermined. I hope we all know this. Red in the face. Red in the face. It's crazy. I'll move on. It's crazy. Anyway, I like Cody. I like Roman both. I'm glad that Cody, they pulled the trigger when they did. I still maintain they pulled the trigger a year later than they should have. My opinion, you can disagree all you want to. I think it would have worked out tremendously had they pulled the trigger a year earlier. I think it worked out tremendously when they did pull the trigger, but I do believe, for me anyway, some of the sheen was off of it. Do you know what I mean? Some of the glow was a bit dampened, was a bit dulled, maybe. I don't know. Just my take, yeah. But look, we know how this is going to end. And you know what's awesome to me? I was talking about storytelling. I didn't mean to get off on a rant. What's awesome to me is this storytelling thing that we're talking about here. It's, again, 2 points. One, like I said before, a lot of people wishing that the Bloodline thing had been ended a long time ago. Said it's run its course. It's over. Let's move on with something else. Number two, Roman giving him the stink eye since he came back. He's upset, I guess, because he don't have that belt. I'm thinking, you and your guys cheated a lot. Like a lot for you to keep that belt. Do you not remember that? Like, it's the fictional kayfabe world of pro wrestling in which he's upset that he didn't have that belt, but the truth of the matter is, he was lucky to have kept it as long as he did in storyline terms because his crew kept the belt on him. Do you know what I mean? It's wackadoodle pro wrestling logic, man. It's like comic book logic. You know what I mean? Comic book science, I should say. There's comic book science and pro wrestling logic, neither of which work in the real world, and they never will. Like some stuff you just take it for granted in a comic book themed movie or TV series or stream or whatever that is. You just go, well, how did he? It's a fine, let it go. And you just keep moving with the plot so you can enjoy the movie or whatever it is. It's the same thing here. Pro wrestling logic. It's silly. It's goofy. It's what they do. It's pro wrestling. Let's see here. Maria says, I'm sick of the no story crap wrestling matches themselves. I'm sick of the no story crap. Wrestling matches themselves are supposed to tell stories. Real wrestling fans understand. But look, Maria, I love you. But real wrestling fans is kind of an odd term to me personally. I don't know if I get that. I don't know what are we saying that some fans are real and some aren't? I don't know. Maybe longtime wrestling fans understand that. I can get that. And look, here's something else that look, anyone here that's ever grew up on the territories or knows the territories or is familiar with territories at all understands that this concept of a storyline is not what you see today. 10-minute mic spots, vignettes, right? Spots backstage. These things that Roman does in the bloodline stuff where they just look at each other and it's like a soap opera or something. It's fascinating where they just stand there and they'll do this and do a double take and look away I'm just waiting for someone to go like this, like away from the camera. Not that it's not working, but the term storyline is a broad catch-all net, yeah, to catch what is done in the pro wrestling business. Back in the days of the territories, man, all you had to do was one guy get mad at another guy. Let's settle it. Well, there's your storyline. It could become layered as it went, but the disagreements and the feud between Dusty and Rick were fairly simple. There wasn't really anything complex. It wasn't complex storytelling. Dusty was a man of the people. Rick was not. Rick was on his high horse. Dusty was with the common guys, right? Blue collar versus white collar. There's your feud. You didn't have to get more complex than that. I look, I agree with the idea of, do I want every match to be, hit and run and not have any meat on the bone? I don't, no. Do I think that every show, every single solitary match should have a deep, intense, intricate storyline? I do not agree with that. That's not what I want to see. I like to see a mix of both. You know what I mean? If you have 3 top storylines that are carrying that company, and then you could have other folks like be satellites around those storylines, that's good for me. But if I got 8 matches on the card, I don't necessarily need 8 matches with solid storylines that date back 6 months. That's me talking. Some folks would rather have that with every show they watch. I don't really need that. You know what I mean? That's me, though. I mean, look at, again, territory days. Look back to NWA days. But yes, there were the storylines. Sure. There's 6 matches on the card. Were there 6 storylines? Sure, there were. But were all 6 of them, did all 6 of them put people in the building? Probably not. The top 3 probably did. Sometimes maybe just the top one did. Yeah. Like there's a little something there for everybody, right? Variety shows, we've often said. Not trying to rant. Not trying to rant. JP says soap opera for, and by the way, I didn't mean to use that term. I'm the one guy that's rallied against the word soap opera for years. Hate it. But I brought it to the table, yeah? Toby says AW Online hate turned me completely off the Twitter and most podcasts. So ridiculous. I completely agree. It's asinine. It's absolutely asinine. Ron says WB storylines are fantastic. There's a few convoluted. I'm trying to find the way they make sense in the long term, but it's still solid. He also says the only thing I really get upset about, not acting insane on air for the show or at a show, is some of the drama happening in our area with some of the shows and some of the talent. WWE or AW stuff is what it is. They make more money than I do, so they must be doing something right. Yeah, I don't really know what you're referencing. I can kind of put 2 and 2 together and maybe figure it out. You don't have to reveal anything here live. I get it. But yeah. And look, as far as on-air personalities, be who you want to be. I don't care. It doesn't make any difference to me. I'm as animated now. Look, if you go back and listen to the first couple years of Tom Clark's Main Event, welcome to Tom Clark's Main Event. It sounds like NPR. Hey guys, I watched that match between Undertaker and Goldberg, and wow. It's not good, man. I promise you it's not good. It's not bad, yeah, but it's not good, man. I'm telling you. It's ooh, yeah. Wow. Right? But you get more comfortable in the chair, you develop your voice, as most podcasters who do this long term do. You discover who you are along the way, you create this persona. I can tell you right now, what you see before you is who I am. I don't turn it up for the camera. I'm as animated here as I am in real life. I can be chill with the best of them. I can be low key, sure. I have days where I don't really want to talk that much. I have days where I podcast so much my voice is wrecked. I had that happen last week. I was wrecked. I couldn't talk for like 2 hours. I had to take a break. You know what I mean? And I don't want to be on the show and say hi. Welcome to the show. Good to see you. Can you imagine if this was the show? Watch. All the time. It's unsettling, isn't it? Because you're like, he's staring right at me. I won't do that to you. That's why I kind of move around and stuff and be animated. Not because I'm trying to perform for you, but because I don't know. I don't want you to get bored. Plus, I like to be myself, man. I'm not going to put on a mask for anybody. JP also says it's hard to do storylines for every match, trying to fill a 3-hour show or 6 hours of wrestling. Sure. And there was who was it that always had? That was the one thing I think that Russo always got credit for. Russo was responsible for a lot of garbage. Oh, shocker. Yeah. Shocker. Garbage TV and Vince Russo going hand in hand. Say it isn't so. But the one thing that was basically always said about the guy, to my recollection, was that everyone in the company had a storyline, even if it was small. Every match on every card, especially the big shows, no pun intended, had a storyline. I respect that. A lot of balls to juggle at the same time, a lot of plates to spin simultaneously, yeah. But if you can make it happen and make it work, sure, right? Toby says, I grew up watching Men in Black Wrestling. Same. The shows just had matches with some promo work, so I'm not as big into this storyline argument. And look, Toby, do you watch New Japan? That's what those guys do now. There's not a lot, dude. When they take the mic, occasionally there'll be a 30-second something said, and then whoever main events, usually the guy that wins in that match, will be on the stick and say something. And then after the show is over, you'll see press conferences backstage where they get to cut promos. That's it. The rest of it is like old school NWA. That's what I love about watching New Japan. They get it done in the ring. You can tell stories in the ring without having to spend 20 minutes on the mic every single show. And by the way, nothing wrong with that form of storytelling. A lot of that stuff works. It does. I'm not trying to crap on one versus the other. I'm just saying it's okay to have a mix. But here's what I'll tell you. Man, I'm spending more time than I thought I would. Here's what I'll tell you about this is that we have a generation. And guys, if you're a certain age, then you may not understand this, may not see it. We have a generation of wrestling fans raised after WCW closed its doors, yeah? Who are fans now. They don't understand. The only storytelling they know is the storytelling perpetrated, instigated, written, and performed by WWE. They don't know how storytelling could work in anywhere else. So when they see a company, they get a glimpse of an AEW or New Japan or a TNA or whatever that looks like, that doesn't do storytelling the way that their beloved WWE does, they don't know what to do with that. No idea what to do with it. They think it's wrong. That's the truth. They think it's flat out wrong. The WWE's way of doing it is the only way of doing it. Period. End of story. There's guys my age who believe that now. You can tell who's in the bag for certain companies, and it's fine. I don't care. You can be a fan of whatever you want to be a fan. I don't really care either way. I think it's fascinating to only want to watch one set of pro wrestling and never venture out of your comfort zone. But hey, that's me. That's me. That's just me talking. You know what I mean? People are free to disagree all day long. What's up, Jay? Everybody go check out the Untitled Wrestling Podcast and Two Nations Under Ted Lasso Podcast. Releasing the show tomorrow morning, episode 4, season 3 at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's locked, loaded, ready to go. Go check it out. Don't miss it. Be sure you're subscribing. Like and comment and subscribe. Follow the podcast wherever you get your podcasts, as well as boinkstudios.com and YouTube at Boink Studios. I'm good at that, yeah. By the way, the Beast Mortos is fat. I told you, we knew about that match with him and Ricochet was, holy cow, the thing was fun. That thing was fun, dude, right? Fernando says Sting versus Flair at the Clash had no story. It was simple. Sting was a young brass challenger that wanted a piece of the champ. And those guys feuded for the next 10 years. Good call. Yeah. There was probably something. I'm sure Sting won something to become challenger, but I don't remember what it was. That match still stands out to me as one of the best matches of all time. Honestly. So good. I got a question for you. As great as that match is, if you put that under the lens of modern WWE wrestling, would that match get over? I mean, I think it would. I'm not trying to start a fight here. I think it would. Fernando says Warrior had better matches with Undertaker than Goldberg. Oh, I see what you mean. Because the sort. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. JP says, on the spot title matches do not always need storytelling or money in the bank cash-ins. That's true. Byron Cutler watching from YouTube. What's up, my friend? The build for Royal Rumble 2025 needs to be similar In what way? Byron, elaborate for us, if you will. It's an interesting take. Ron says so many shows have better storylines than TV shows. I've said for years, some of the wrestling I've seen on indie shows, some of the best wrestling I've ever seen that never got taped. Some of the best matches I've ever seen live were between two 17-year-old kids on a Saturday night, and no one remembers them except me and maybe 40 other people. And 25 of those people forgot the whole show. Or more, yeah. Fantastic. Never got recorded. That's how it is. I think wasn't it Rick and Flair and Ricky Steamboat who both said their best matches never got on TV and never even got recorded? They were just house shows somewhere. Yeah. Ray says WWE is doing the 20th thing now. It's hard to know who's heel, like Damage Control. Yeah, let's set up the Rocky 6M. I know you want to do it. I just haven't got around to it, man. We just gotta get a good day. How's your mic, by the way? Is your mic better? I know you were talking about getting a mic. Did you ever get one? I want to be sure your quality is good on your side. Because I'm 5-star, baby. I'm kidding. I'm a star anyway, not a star. I'm at least 1 star, right? I let the podcast a 3-star rating today, by the way, instead of a 5. Talk about throwing shade. Maria says, I watch wrestling no matter where it comes from, as long as it's good. I like your attitude. Toby says, while wrestling today is so good, you get such variety. I agree. Maria also says, the Beast Mortos. By the way, I love that we're calling him the Beast Mortos. It's not just Mortos. That's awesome to me. I love the Beast Mortos. By the way, you should know what's coming down the ramp behind that curtain. It's not a dude named Mortos. It's a beast named Mortos. Run. Freaking run. That's awesome to me. Marie from Pitches and Power Bombs. Good to see you. Let's do a show again sometime, yeah? I love you, Marie. Thank you much for saying hello. Everybody go check out and subscribe to their show, please. And thank you. Toby says, speaking of Mortos, I need him and Roosh as a tag team champ. Wow, man, my God in heaven. Can you imagine? Roosh and Mortos? Who's beating those guys? Oh, my. JP's very talky today. I appreciate you, dude. It's hard to do a proper build for Royal Rumble because of all the surprise entrants and returns in the match. That's fair. I mean, building around it, you could. But I see what you mean. Marie says, I know that WWE is hot right now and in high demand, but when do you think they'll hit a wall? The economy isn't great, and they're asking for over $100 for nosebleed seats. I saw that. How long will folks be willing to pay that when things are so tough? It'll cool down eventually. I don't know when that moment's going to come. A lot of people predicted it would come when Cody won the belt, and that didn't happen. Yeah, they're as hot as they ever was. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you have an opinion. In terms of when I think it'll cool down, there was a reason for it to cool down when the other company, and there's a lot of reasons why AEW is in the shape it's in right now today in terms of numbers of viewers. Yeah, this is being made a lot of on other podcasts, and we don't have to get into it here. But there's some reasons behind it. I got theories behind it. We don't have to do this here today. Maybe we can do it eventually. But I think that's where a lot of these additional viewers came from. Folks that have walked away from that company and said, I'm done. This is bad TV. I don't like this. I don't like the owner. This. And so they tuned in. Now, they're not turning from Dynamite to watch Raw because, of course, they're not on the same night. But they may be frustrated with AEW and say, you know what? I liked Punk. Why'd they let him? You know what I mean? I'm not defending anything or supporting or challenging. I'm just saying maybe that's where some of that came from. Maybe they just split and they came back here. I don't know. Maybe so, man. You know what I mean? I think anything's a possibility. Anything's a possibility. Jay says they're in a 10-man tag on Collision together. Oh my goodness. Man, I remember when the excitement around Collision when it first debuted and how we all started wondering out loud if it was going to replace Dynamite in terms of ratings and star power. Well, that didn't last, did it? Chad says, oh, yeah, you know what? I saw the announcement for TNA coming to, was it Spartanburg, South Carolina? I think they're coming to Winston-Salem as well. I've never seen TNA live. I'd be okay with seeing them live. As long as they didn't charge me $100 for a ticket. So, yeah. Maria says Mortos, the Beast Mortos, has not had a bad match. I agree. Byron says, I see a triple threat between Gunther, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk at Royal Rumble. That would make a lot of sense. Boy, wouldn't that be a heck of a match? What's up, E? Welcome to the show, kids. Everybody watching. That first 30 minutes has flown by. I need a nap. I'm exhausted. So, look, kids, before we go to the next segment at the bottom of the hour here, as we have already arrived, be patient, if you will, and everybody take a look at this.
Boink Studios is the home of Tom Clark's main event, Tom Clark's 6M podcast, and Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. Visit the site today for links to every podcast platform, social media, special announcements, and a lot more. Check out the site and bookmark today, boinkstudios.com.
For anybody who pays attention to the website, you know that video is really outdated. I need to do another one, but it gets the point across. Go check us out. Visit and bookmark the site, kids. Boinkstudios.com, BOINK, boinkstudios.com. And you'll get links to all the podcasts as well as podcasts for my co-host on all the shows that I do. So there you go. E says, would you ever start a political podcast? E, I want you to do me a favor. And I know what you're thinking. Tom's just trying to get me to read his stuff. I'm not, I promise. But I want you to go right here. You can do it while you're watching the show. And anybody else who would like to do this, please and thank you, would mean a lot to me. This is substack.com. I am currently writing on this platform, and my fourth podcast lives on that platform. E, this is probably the closest thing to a political podcast you're ever going to hear me do. You, I think, will appreciate this. Do me a favor, E, set you up an account on Substack and follow me. It's free. I don't charge. There's no content, no charge for any of my content. I'm not behind a paywall. So please go check it out. And to answer your question, E, that's the closest I've probably ever come to doing a political show. Jay says, I'm off to see my other Two Nations Under Ted podcast co-host. Thanks for hanging out, Jay. He's going to see the incomparable Joseph Higgins. Hello to Joe, by the way. JP says, heard a rumor they might cancel Rampage. They want to extend SmackDown to 3 hours. I've heard the Rampage cancel rumors as well, but not because they're eliminating television, but because they could be adding a new show. They've indeed trademarked AEW Shockwave. By the way, thank you for that segue, because the SmackDown and Raw to 3 hours, it is a rumor right now, kids. Nothing's been confirmed. Apparently, the option is there if they want to do it. A lot of people are pushing back against that, saying we don't need 6 hours of any one company on the air every week. I'm inclined to agree with that, no matter which company it is. But let's also, in that same vein, talk about AEW's TV deal. Now, look, this thing has not been announced, okay? But according to what we're reading online, the deal has been closed, okay? So, what this is going to mean moving forward, we will see. But it involves staying on TBS and TNT, and also getting some programming on True TV. So there you go. Here's what I will tell you, kids, that I've been hearing for a long time, is that the Turner family of networks, as I'm calling it, are pretty happy with this company, and they have been for a long time, that they want to continue this partnership. Now, I can't swear that's the truth, but that's what I've been hearing for a while, is that they're pretty happy with AEW. They're happy with the content. They're happy with the programming. TV is, pro wrestling TV is extraordinarily cheap to produce compared to other forms of entertainment, compared to, single cam sitcoms or dramas or even reality shows, I would suspect. I think pro wrestling is probably, in the grand scheme of things, dollar for dollar, probably the cheapest means of producing TV. And it was like that in the 70s and 80s too, which is why local stations always gobbled it up, because then, there wasn't a lot being paid for it. You know what I mean? And and plus the pro wrestling companies can churn out content like this. Whereas, right, like sitcoms and dramas and all this other stuff and streamers, take a break, so then go make more episodes. Then they come back and they take a break. You know what I mean? Seasons, no seasons in pro wrestling. So supposedly they're happy with that. But I'd like to hear what you guys think about this new TV deal. Toby says Rampage is getting canceled and Shockwave. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't think that's been confirmed yet, but we will see. I'm not going to put. Well, we're trying to keep this pro wrestling, but no, it's, by the way, wackadoo. I wasn't going to. Of course, I wasn't going to vote for the guy anyway. You know where I lean politically. No chance I was going to vote for that guy. Not happening. So yeah, he's man alive. Some wackadoodle stuff, baby. Wackadoodle. I did hear the same thing, Chad, that Shockwave is going to be only 1 hour. Maria says 3 hours is absurd. I'm inclined to agree with you. Toby says, yeah, the rumors are 170 million per year for 5 years is the rumor, I think. For whatever reason, it has not been announced publicly. Tony is keeping that, playing it close to the vest. Not sure why. He's being very ambiguous on podcasts and being interviewed on Busted Open or whatnot. But yeah, I don't know what he's waiting on. Maybe he's waiting for this Mox thing. I don't know. Maybe they're doing something there we're not aware of. Aaron says for my match card predictions, Women's Royal Rumble, Bronson Reed versus Braun Strowman in a casket match. Interesting. Gunther versus Seth versus Punk. Raquel versus Rhea. And then the men's Royal. Well, you know what? That sounds like a good card to me. We'll see how it plays out. Toby says, love him or hate him, but AEW is top 3 and 4 in their time slot every week. Networks like that. I couldn't agree with you more. Kids, by the way, if you're here and you've not hit the like button, please do that for me. And please also share the show on your Facebook, on your Twitter, on your Instagram, wherever it is you are, that will take a link, and I'd appreciate it. Let's get those likes up before we call it a day here in about 30 minutes or so. I'd appreciate it very much. Patrick the cat is fine. He's all 3 of my cats are doing lovely, by the way. So is my dog. Ray says, I assume you don't eat dogs and cats. Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. Tub says, TK can't resist a big announcement. Boy, did you say it or what? Loves it. This week, a very special announcement. How many weeks in a row did we hear that from that guy? I like Tony. He's fun. I question decisions. But, what do I know? I'm sitting here. He's sitting there. We're in 2 different locations. Not just in the United States, but level of importance too. Right? And things have happened lately to remind me what my level of importance is in the grand scheme of things. And it's nowhere near Mr. Khan. But it's okay. We all have value to some extent. Yeah. We all have value in our own way. So, yeah. And then other people are told to get back in their lane. Or they have to get back in their lane. Sometimes there's not a lot of choice. Maria says, I love the new deal and looking forward to the new shows, but no Velocity or Sunday Heat type of shows. I mean, a lot of people say that's what, maybe. And look, here's the thing about the Ring of Honor brand. There's some good shows on that. And plus, once you get Honor Club, you don't have to shill out an additional $30-$40 for Ring of Honor pay-per-view. You just watch it. What they should have been doing from day one, So I appreciate that. And there's been moments where I watch Rampage and go, this match, I don't know why I'm watching this match. Good match, but it's not going anywhere. Do you know what I mean? But, again, that's me giving my own opinions on how the booking should go for a company I don't write storylines for. It's kind of wonky to some degree, I think. But, hey, that's just me talking. Chad says, I agree with what you said last week about wrestling and doing what happened at Data pay-per-view for forever. But do you think what they did with Danielson hurts them at all? Getting him the belt? I think it's a big deal that they gave the world title to a guy who's now not on TV for 2 straight weeks. Do I think it's the end of the world? I do not think it's the end of the world. Do I think it's going to kill them? I do not think it's going to kill them. It's an interesting choice to put him over the way they did, and then he's gone. But, I don't know. I don't mean to keep saying I don't know as if that's my go-to de facto answer. I don't mean to do that, keep doing that to you guys all the time, but I truly don't know where they're going with this. You would suspect that Danielson will eventually. I've been saying for a while Danielson's last match as a full-time performer will be against Mox, and he'll drop the belt to Mox. This thing at Grand Slam coming up, I think he's getting that title shot from Darby. I think it's a done deal. I think it's already a done deal. Robbie, what's up? No worries on being late, my friend. Thanks for hanging out. Any updates you've heard on Keith Lee's health? The latest I heard is that he's still injured, that he's in Texas. Whether or not that's true, who knows? But that's the latest I heard. Supposedly Miro has asked for his release. And, this broke today. I don't know if he's going to get it, but he's not worked on TV since December. And it's being reported by Fightful, actually, today. First, saying that he had signed a 4-year extension in the spring of 2022 after inking his initial deal in 2020. And there's no reason being given why he has decided now to request his release. But I can tell you this, that the Lucha Bros have apparently officially signed with WWE. And from what's being said right now, grain of salt, kids, but it seems fairly legit, is that the company's working on creating merch, masks, all that good stuff. And they're going to debut on the main roster. Take that for what it's worth. I wish them luck. I hope they kill it. I hope they tear it up. I hope they have the tag belts within 2 months. Truly, I hope they have the best time. If that's what they want to do, and obviously they do, I say go do it, In terms of Miro, he's 38. He's wrestled just 11 times with no appearances this year. How about that? His last match was at December 2023's World's End, and he defeated Andrade, and we know what happened after that with Andrade. He's reportedly healthy, but that's the latest on him. We will see where it goes. Very interesting. Shane finally showed up. What's going on? With everything going on in the wrestling world, do y'all ever get burnt out on it? I think it's easy. I can't speak for anybody else. It's easy to get burned out. I took a break from wrestling back in the mid-90s, give or take. I took a little bit of a break from it because it was just a lot, And that's before the era of podcasts. Yeah. So, we'll see. We'll see how the Miro thing plays out. I'm interested to see, as well as the Lucha Bros. Again, wish them all luck in the world. Let's talk a little bit about Mox versus Darby Allin. Again, Grand Slam is next week, and we will segue that into Grand Slam. Right now, there are 4 matches officially booked for Grand Slam on AEW's website. Hook defend the FTW Championship against Roderick Strong. The Young Bucks defend the AEW World Tag Team Championships against Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay. If Brian is cleared to wrestle, Brian Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness. I heard before going live here today that supposedly they've sold not a lot of tickets for this Grand Slam show because they've got this caveat. And well, one of the reasons suspected is because they have this caveat right now of, is Danielson going to be there? Is he not going to be there? Nobody knows. But is that the right move? I don't think so. You know what I mean? We'll see. But pardon the typing, kids. This moment of typing brought to you by Tom Clark's Main Event. But yeah, so if you're going to have your world champion defending his belt, first time you've seen the guy, and by this time it'll be 3 weeks next week, advertise the match. I don't know what we're doing here. This whole thing with Nigel is interesting to me. I don't understand it. And look, me not understanding why they're doing a thing is not me disagreeing with it being done to begin with. Can we just be clear on that? It's not the case. I think Nigel's great. I think the history between him and Danielson, it's all there. If you weren't a fan during that time, you're going to need a refresher course on what the history is, right? if the only Danielson you know is the guy that was doing the yes thing in WWE and then came here and used his real name, then you may not understand what you're looking at. And that's fine. I mean, everyone knows how to YouTube and how to Google, right? So yeah, we'll see. But at the same time, catch people up. Catch people up. That's all I'm saying. We'll see how it goes. But I think the match is happening. I don't know why it wouldn't happen. And you know what? Don't be surprised if Brian comes out in just a rage of fury, just going nuts, like hitting harder than he's ever hit before. This thing could end in a disqualification within 90 seconds. I'll be bold and say that. I'll say that he'll come out and get himself disqualified. And then it'll protect Nigel because he'll be around for another match because they can always circle back to it. But I think Danielson will come out because Danielson's not going to look. This character is not going to lay down for anybody. The American Dragon character is not laying down for Mox. He's not going away. He didn't get his heart broken. You see what I'm saying? That stuff didn't happen. This is American Dragon. This is not Daniel Bryan. And I love that character too, but this is Bryan Danielson. This is the real deal. To me, there's a difference. This is the guy who reminded the world over the past 5 years just how incredibly good he is. Can I ask you a question? When he was in WWE, were you referring to him as the best in the world? Be honest with me. How many of you were? I bet some of you are now, aren't you? You see what I'm saying? I'm not giving the company credit for that. I'm just saying he's allowed to be the American Dragon in this company where he wasn't allowed to really, they didn't want that from him in the other company. You see what I'm saying? He ain't laying down for Mox. It ain't happening. And speaking of Mox, of course, Darby's AW World title shot's on the line as Mox faces Darby at Grand Slam. It's interesting to me how all this is gonna play out. I don't have any idea what's gonna happen. Ray's going to Grand Slam. Ray, have a good time, my friend. Have a good time. We are going to get Okada versus Takeshita, Toby. If I had to guess, I would say we'll get it at Wrestle Dream. Wrestle Dream's in October. I think it's October 12th, I believe. I think that's when we'll get it. We shall see. People blow me up as I'm on the air. This kind of thing happens all the time. I don't know why. And yeah. So there we are. Again, kids, I'd like to get your input here. We've got some comments here. Fernando says, I'm sorry, but the Bryan versus Nigel thing is being booked at a terrible time. Too much going on with Moxley trying to get a shot at Bryan from Darby. And Christian, dude, there's so many. I could not agree more. There's so many contenders for that belt. And I don't think they're being juggled properly, in my opinion. I think it's all a mess. It's a mess, as my mom would say. It's just a big mess. JP says maybe Danielson will show up on Collision to confirm that he will be there. Yeah, but you could help ratings by announcing he'll be on Collision, couldn't you? Maybe you're right. So yeah, Shane says, I just don't like the fact that Nigel came out of nowhere and gets a title shot. I don't like the booking either. I think it's silly. I mean, I'm not losing any sleep over it because I like both these guys, but I just think, like I said to Jay last week on the show, kids, it continues to fascinate me that Bryan Danielson has continued to not respond publicly to anything Nigel's ever really said about him. And that's going to be a world title match? It's weird to me. Very weird. Chad, I think O'Reilly's getting pretty good. Dude's on TV all the time. That conglomeration thing is probably the best thing that's happened to Kyle O'Reilly in a long time in that company. Can we be honest? Honestly, I think it is. Well, kids, guess what just happened? We're going to open this floor up, which means Ray's going to have his question and anything you guys want to talk about. We've got 9 minutes at the top of the hour. We're going to get out of here. I want to say right now, in case anyone decides to bail, and I hope you don't, I want to thank everybody for tuning in here today and for hanging out, for asking questions, for engaging, for talking. I appreciate you. We're one like away from hitting an even number, kids. So if you haven't hit that like button, please do so. I'd greatly appreciate it. Maria said, casual fans even know who Nigel is. That's a really, really good question. I don't have the answer to that. The easy answer is no, but I cannot say that for sure. But you make an excellent point. Ray says, Outcast or Beastie Boys? Much too hard for me. But I'll I'll say Outcast. God, that's hard. Part 2, DMX or Busta Rhymes. Gotta go with X, man. And if Adam Cole invited you to the grand opening of the Adam Cole appliance store, you did this appliance store. No, last week it was electronics, wasn't it? So you can get any appliance you want for free. What would you pick? Appliance? Could use a new washer and dryer. Spoken like a true dad. Right? If he also said your friend can have something as well, would you please call me? Sure. Later, want to grab dinner, have baked chicken with a garden salad and cold glass lemonade plus a slice of cheesecake. Could I join you as well? I would suspect that cheesecake would negate the positive work having been done with the baked chicken and garden salad. But yes, sure. Why not? I have not started Agatha all along. Please, no one ruin it for me. I wanted to start it last night. However, I did not. Please, no one spoil it. If you spoil it, you suck. Please don't spoil it. So, Chad, you're not familiar with Nigel? Man, Nigel was man in Ring of Honor, dude. He was the top guy at any given time. He's top guy. So good in the ring. And then health stuff, kept him out of the ring. They put him in WWE and let him do commentary, and they changed his name. Remind me what they changed. I don't want to look it up. What they changed Nigel's name to. Wasn't a great name. But anyway. But he's great on commentary. That heel thing he does reminds me of Jesse Ventura. Remember how Jesse always pulled for the heels every time? But then he could say other things as well to kind of make you believe he was going to be fair, but really he wasn't. Chad also asked, where's Wardlow or Waldo? That's a good one. I mean, every time it seems like Desmond Wolf. Thank you, Fernando. Hate that name. So, yeah, look, every time they start to heat up Wardlow, they just cool him right back down. I don't get it either. It just doesn't make any sense to me, dude. I'll never understand that. What was my favorite 80s NWA pay-per-view? I think it's a toss-up. It's got to be either Starrcade or the Bash. I love the Bash, man. I mean, and that was more of the show that toured the country, right? But that's where Dusty beat Rick in the cage. It wasn't at the Bash he beat him in the cage. That wasn't Starrcade, was it? Or was it two different wins? Maybe it's two different wins. Fernando says Wardlow and Brian Cage are in the same boat, but at least Brian Cage is on TV. Wardlow is not. I'm just saying. JP says, I've only known Nigel as a commentator for WWE and WWE NXT UK and now AEW. Dude, look, go Google, go YouTube the guy. I promise you'll be impressed. Very good. Very good. And look, he's in great shape. Again, this thing, if handled differently at a different time, maybe could have gotten over like huge. Maybe it will get over next Wednesday. But here's what I think, in my opinion, and I may not get this right. If I get it right, you guys remember who told you, okay? But I can honestly see this being a just a complete beatdown, and he bloodies Nigel. Because it's not about hurting Nigel. It's not about hurting him or damaging him in the eyes of the fans or hurting him for another match, nothing like that. But it would be more about showing John, look what I just did. You think I'm done? You think I'm down? I'm not laying down for anybody, whether it's you or Darby or whoever. I'm coming back. I'm here right now. I'm not rolling over for anybody. You know what I mean? And they could always invoke the name of his lordship as Mox did. That promo was so good, by the way. Lance Archer is another being washed. I don't know about being washed, but they're definitely not using him. They included him in that match a couple weeks ago, and we all knew he wasn't going to win. I mean, I think I said, wouldn't it be cool if he did win? But of course he didn't. What's up, CRP? Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, dude. Thanks for hanging out. I got to message you, man. I'm sorry I hadn't said much to you lately. It's been crazy. Have a great weekend as too. Friend of the show. And the patent report's coming soon, kids. So I hear. So a big hairy birdie has told me. So get ready for that. Coming soon to a website near you. No news on Scorpio. Dude, he was coming back, wasn't he? Wasn't he cutting promos about coming back and then now he's gone? I'm not backing down from what I've always said, that I do not believe that AEW necessarily has too much talent. I just don't. It's okay if you guys want to believe that. If that's how you guys feel, I can't change your minds. I mean, that seems to be the thing to say. I disagree, but again, I'm not here to change anyone's mind on that. If that's how everybody feels, you guys can feel that way. It's fine. I do not believe that they have too much talent. I just believe that this idea of booking from one week to the next is maybe not the best idea I've ever heard. But there again, Tom's sitting here, Mr. Khan's sitting way over there. You know what I mean? My only 2 cents worth there, kids. And it says, can you see sometime in the far future the AW or WWE doing a huge crossover event? I just don't see it personally. There's too many egos involved. There's too much money involved to be split. There's too many, well, I don't want to go over, or he shouldn't go over on me. My guy shouldn't have to job to him. There's too much of that stuff. And look, it's understandable there would be egos. I don't think you could do business that way unless one company buys the other. And I don't want to see that either. I don't want to see that either. Toby, what questions did you ask me? Oh, wait. NJPW is quiet where it was. What would you do to fix it? Time. Just keep towing. Just keep biding your time. Because they have good young talent. You know what I mean? Look, not that you are. People counted this company out before Okada came back. People counted this company out, and they were right to do so before Tana came in. Okay? And Tana saved that company. And Okada took it to another level. Yeah? But I think just time. They lost a lot of their heavy hitters in the span of 2 years. In the span of 2 years, they lost, 2 to 3 years, right? They lost the Bucks. They lost Kenny. They lost Cody. They lost Jay White. They lost Okada. They lost Will Ospreay. This is a big deal, man. Ibushi got hurt, disappeared. I'm just saying that company's hurting for good talent. But again, they've got some young boys there and guys who are gonna. I think they'll be fine. It's a waiting game right now. It's building these talents up to believable main event stars and getting there. You know what I mean? But I suspect they'll be fine. Where do you think the Mariah and Mina story is going? I don't know. I like Mina quite a bit. I think, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens because I do like both of them quite a bit. And is it just me or did that AEW Women's World Championship cool down significantly now that Tony no longer has it? And that's not a statement against Mariah. Has the follow-up of Mariah been where it should be, considering she beat the hottest women's world champion that company's probably ever had? I don't know. Rhea says KO's not signed a new deal. Can you see him jumping ship? And would you back up the Brinks truck for him if you're Tony? I can see him going to AEW. I don't know that he will. He seems to be happy, right? But also, look, there comes a point in time when you have to be honest with yourself. Look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm not getting any younger. If I'm going to roll the dice on myself, it needs to be now. So maybe that's what's happening. Maybe that'll happen with him. Yeah, Kenny got hurt, but I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about when they were all in New Japan and they left for AEW. It was a while back. You know what I mean? Still. Just listing the number of guys that they lost within the span of, counting back from that, 5 to 6 years now that they lost is insane. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Well, kids, I hate to call this a day because I know we've still got comments coming in, but I'm at the top of the hour and I got a hard out here. But look, I'm going to thank everybody for tuning in here today. I appreciate you very much. If you are a Ted Lasso fan, do me a favor, watch this.
Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast, reviews all episodes of the Apple TV series with opinions from both sides of the Atlantic, featuring Tom Clark in the US and Jay Luft and Joe Higgins in the UK. Join them as they dive into all 3 seasons of Ted Lasso with both video and audio versions available on boinkstudios.com.
Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you're getting episode 4 from season 3 of Ted Lasso. Follow us on boinkstudios.com. Check us out on the YouTube. All the links are there to Tom Clark's main event, Tom Clark's 6M podcast, Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast, and Tom Clark's Substack podcast. They're all right there. And every link you could hope to find. Do me a favor, kids. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe, like, and subscribe. Follow all the podcasts. And please, everybody, bookmark and visit bookmark.boinkstudios.com. Thanks for supporting the show. Everybody have the best weekend, okay? And we will see you next week. If anything comes up that we're not here next Friday, I will announce it ahead of time. But until then, thanks again for hanging out. Be good, kids. We'll see you next time. We appreciate you. See you later.